Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 404 of the All You Can Hear podcast. My name is Wenzel, and joining me is my all-star co-host,
Crypto Colt, born on Krypton. Hey, it's me, Superman's cousin. I love to surf. It's the Norwegian Superman cousin from Krypton.
Wow, man.
Is my mic muted?
No.
So do I have the job?
What job?
To play Superman's Norwegian cousin from Krypton, but he's Norwegian.
We really like it, buddy.
That's good.
You know what?
No negative so far.
We're gonna put this right here, top of our idea pile. First thing we get to, and we'll get back to you.
Hey, no negatives.
You just
instead of walking out like a normal rehearsal, I just stand in the corner. I'm like, all right. I'm just gonna watch the rest of these.
Oh God. Hey buddy.
You like point to the door and you just point to the door. I'm like, no, I'm good. I like it here.
All right, but you're kind of making everybody uncomfortable. So we're gonna get to your idea. I promise. We're gonna call you. Could you please? I point to the door, kind of like doing like a waving hand motion.
I'll think about it.
Could we get security up here real quick? Security comes up. Is like, all right, buddy, let's go. Come on. I'm sure they love your idea. I'm sure they love it. They'll get back to you. Come on.
Ain't seen.
End scene. That's where the scene ends. No crying or kicking or anything.
No.
Wow.
That's for the sequel. You'll get that in the future.
Okay. All right, I'm glad we did that bit. So, if you couldn't tell from the episode title,
and that awesome fucking sketch, come on, guys, that should have told you everything.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a review and discussion of All-Star Superman. This is a series that came out between 2005 and 2008. It is 12 issues, and we read it in, I assume, I'm not going to assume. For me, I read it in the collected DC Compact edition of All-Star Superman. That's how I read it. I don't know how Colt read it.
I originally read it in a hardcover trade. I bought for like $12 on a Black Friday a couple years ago. I read it last year, and I reread it for this because I forgot a lot of it. But I'm very glad I read it again. I read it online because I didn't feel like unstacking my books and finding it. Yeah, it's still great.
Yeah, so and in the DC Compact Edition, this actually came out last year, 2024. I've been wanting to read All-Star Superman for a while because Colt told me he read it and he said I should read it. And with James Gunn's Superman film coming out this Friday, or premieres this Thursday, July 10th, which is my birthday. So please tell me happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, Colt. James Gunn has stated that he has taken inspiration from All-Star Superman for this film and for the actor Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat. For his Superman for this film, and when that was stated by him, I was like, okay, I guess I have to read it now. So we're doing an episode to talk about it. We're not going to go through every single story beat. We're just going to go through the 12 issues, giving you kind of just brief summaries of what happens, give our thoughts and everything. And I
just want to go ahead and get it out of the way. I don't think James Gunn is going to be adapting much of this, if anything. Since he took inspiration, I'm curious what exactly inspired him. because watching the trailer, the latest one, when we went to the movies yesterday, we saw it. I'm not really seeing much All-Star Superman in it.
If I had to assume, or maybe I might be saying this, but I might have heard this or seen this somewhere. I think mostly like the themes and certain like characters, or certain aesthetics, like kind of like how we see with Crypto being here. We see the Fortress of Solitude, the robots, maybe those, um, maybe Lex Luthor's characterization, specifically. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Also, we're going to
Yeah.
be spoiling this book. I mean, we're going to be spoiling it fully. So if you want to read it before the movie, I recommend it. I will say that, and without spoiling you, check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I guess to spoil kind of how we feel about it, like Colt already said, I just realized I have my TP on.
Was just over there watching fucking South Park.
I have my TV on and the Seinfeld theme started playing, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this better not catch on the audio." I completely forgot. I was not paying attention. Oh god. Yeah. So to spoil kind of how we feel about it, like Colt said, he loved it. Uh, I don't know why I'm saying this because I already posted reviews about it. I'm so stupid. By reviews and everything, I love it. I I was completely just taken aback by it. Oh man, it was just an incredible read. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend to get the compact edition. Just because it's probably the cheapest. It was $10. So if you want it, and most places will probably carry this, since it's such a, it's a popular character and it's a popular title. The All-Star Superman, when it released and even to today, has been highly received, highly acclaimed. It even it won the Eisner Award back in 2006 for best new series, as well as best continuing series in 2007 and 2009. Um, it also won the Harvey Awards for best artist and best single issue in 2008, and in 2006 it also won the Eagle Award for favorite new comic book and favorite comics cover. That was for the first issue. Um, yeah, so uh, it's been highly acclaimed. Um, and yeah, and this compact edition, it is paperback, so it's a little flimsy, and if you're like me and you don't mind that, then like I said, I highly recommend it. It's cheap, easily accessible, and probably I mean, I don't have much experience with Superman. Probably the most accessible Superman comic to exist.
Yeah, I would say it's very accessible. You don't really have to know shit about Superman. I don't know shit about Superman, really. Other than Strongman, I know Lex Luthor exists, and he's a dickhead. And Doomsday is an enemy of his, really. That's all I really knew about him going into this. And Lois Lane.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I probably know more than Colt, but even then it's not much. I don't have really like personal experience with reading his stories. I know a lot of background and a lot of villains and characters, but other than that, I don't really have any experience with reading his stories besides Kingdom Come. Yeah. And that was also the point of this series, was to make it accessible. So this is written by uh Grant Morrison and illustrated by Frank Quietly. Um, this story came about because of Morrison's desire to tell a timeless Superman story that was not an origin story or followed by a classic narrative. So a lot of this stuff in here, it was made to be accessible. There might be references to things from Superman's past, like stories or whatever, but for the most part, you don't really need any sort of context for it. I mean, even if you're like me, who when you get all this stuff thrown at you, I love it even if I don't know what it is, I'm just like, this is so weird and just so crazy. I would love to learn more, even though you're not going to get it, but still, it's just really cool. And this is also All-Star Superman was part of the DC's All-Star imprint, with the first being All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder, which was launched in 2005. All-Star Superman was the second in this imprint as well. The point of what?
I'm saying damn because it's old.
Oh. Oh, man. I didn't even think about it. 2005. This
20 years.
20 years old. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. People born in 2005 are 20 years old now.
Yeah.
If there was a camera on me right now, you would see me with a death stare looking into a void. Oh my God. And part of this imprint to these series that were in it were was part of DC's attempt to allow comic creators to tell stories showcasing these characters without being restricted by the DC universe continuity as well. So that helped also in, like, again, making it super accessible without you needing any sort of prior reading. So to give you a synopsis of what All-Star Superman is about, the series revolves around Superman, who is dying due to his overexposure to Earth's sun, as he accomplishes many heroic feats known as the 12 Labors of Superman, which is an allusion to the 12 Labors of Hercules, and attempts to make peace with the world before his imminent death. So that's the basic premise of this series. And what's also interesting too is that when Morrison and the editor Dan Raspler were unsuccessfully brainstorming ideas for a new take on the character outside of San Diego Comic-Con, when they had a shamanic encounter with a man dressed as Superman, which helped spark the creative process, inspired the cover to the first issue. And the cover to the first issue is Superman sitting on a cloud, which I love. I really love that. That's probably one of my favorite pieces of art from this series. Morrison states in an interview, he was perched with one knee drawn up, chin resting on his arms. He would look totally relaxed, and I suddenly realized this is how Superman would sit. He wouldn't he wouldn't puff out his chest or posture heroically. He would be totally chilled. If nothing can hurt you, you can afford to be cool. A man like Superman would never have to tense against the cold, never have to flinch in the face of a blow. He'd be completely laid back, untense, with this image of Superman relaxing on a cloud, looking out for all of us. In my head, I rushed back to my hotel room and filled dozens of pages of my notebook with notes and drawings. When I think of Superman and when I think of what he's capable of, it's just like, it makes sense. Like he effortlessly sit on a cloud. There's actually Fiona Staples, the artist for Saga. She actually did her own basically fan art of Superman just sitting on a cloud that I love. That sometimes when I think about Superman, I think of that image, and now I realize that it's in direct reference to the cover of All-Star Superman. It's just him sitting on a cloud, but his head's resting on his hand instead.
I didn't realize she's done a decent amount of Superman drawings too.
Yeah, and they're pretty. I mean, Fiona Staples' art's incredible. So I love all of her. It's really cool seeing her, just her interpretations of other pop culture characters. I love her style so much. And yeah, and also too, this All-Star Superman is also kind of is made of a bunch of ideas that Morrison originally had with this other Superman comic idea called Superman Now. So it uses like a bunch of like ideas from that didn't get turned into that. Like I said, there are a lot of references. So like there's a reference to a lot of Golden Age Superman, the Superman Squad, the Superman of the 853rd century, and Superman Dynasty. Like these were all like ideas that they had gotten and put together for this, and we'll get the story that uses those. We'll get to, but I guess let's get into it.
First issue, they just microwave Superman.
Yeah, so should say the issues, they go by episodes. So issue 1 is episode 1, called Faster, and it is when Superman goes to the sun to rescue Dr. Leo Quintum and his project, which is an acronym, team from an exploration mission to the sun. It was sabotaged by Lex Luthor, who at this point has given up his villainous ways, but he's reverted back to that, and this is his attempt to kill Superman, and it works. It's successful.
Yeah, he gives Superman that cancer. It's not a nice thing to do. Lex Luthor, you're a mean man. I'm gonna say that. Not a good man.
You bald bitch! Why you got to do that? Why you got to do that to Superman?
Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say the hot take because I have the issues open on my computer right now, looking at them as we talk about them. Don't get me wrong, the art style is pretty damn good, but looking at their faces, the human faces are so fucking ugly. It's crazy. Not even just a human. There's this alien girl here too. She looks very ugly. I don't understand what's going on with these faces. They look scary and very wrinkly.
The image where she's it's like one big image, but there's 4 panels of Superman below it.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, he looks so strange. This is just a very I don't know the artist. Who's the artist again?
Quietly.
Frank Quietly. I don't know his art style. It could just be his art style, but when I picture early 2000s comics, I picture a very art style close to this, where it has everything drawn in hyper detail, or very good details, but the faces are so fucking ugly. And that's one of the things that kept me from American comics when I was little, was I just thought, man, these are ugly. As an adult, I've grown past that. Like, sometimes I like the ugly. Like, some of the Sandman stuff is very ugly, but the story was good. So I can look past the ugly, but now Sandman's a little complicated, so look past that. But yeah, I'm glad I got older so I can appreciate things. Just not. The thing is, I appreciate its visuals because there are some great visuals in this. It's just, I don't know, the faces, man.
I like a unique art style. Like you, I mean, characters or things can look very ugly, but I don't know. I still, it's not super distracting. I really enjoy it. I will say though, it kind of reminds me of Abara.
Yeah, that art style was fucking interesting.
But what's funny to me about Abara is that again, I can still appreciate it, but I think I was more distracted with that because the characters are way more uglier in Abara than in this. But most of the art looks really great, but then sometimes their faces get a little scrunched up, like they get tinier on the head.
Yeah.
But then sometimes the faces will get hyper detailed in showing like expression that's like terrifying. Like in the 3rd issue with Samson when he gets his arm broken, his face looks so like that looks like a face of like pain. Like it's really good. So I can't harp on the style too much because I do love it, honestly, like with all its quirks or quietlies. And so also in this attempt as well, I thought this was interesting. Superman is able to save Dr. Quintum with his ability to project his bioelectric aura, which I thought was like, I was like, what the hell is happening? Because this is like some Evangelion stuff. I don't know if you remember from Evangelion when they would project their AT fields or whatever.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it reminded me of. But anyway, yeah. So Luthor had Superman cells overloaded with massive amounts of solar radiation, which increases Superman's powers, gives him new powers actually, but is killing him.
It's destroying his cells slowly, and it's basically cancer. He got super cancer.
Yeah, and And it's really we get this really cool like sequence where Superman is showing how powerful he is. He's lifting up a this kind of like hydraulic press, and let me read how much he's lifting because I thought it was cool.
200 quintillion tons.
Pretty crazy. 200 quintillion tons.
I can do it. Give me a Dr. Pepper and 20 minutes, and I'll have myself screaming in pain on the floor. Not even attempted to lift it yet.
And yeah, and I don't know. I just really like this this sequence in here where Dr. Quintum is kind of walking Superman through their facility, and he's kind of showing them all of the projects they're working on. I just one of the big things I loved about this whole series in general is just how many like sci-fi like tropes or concepts are just kind of thrown out there. Like it's like it gets to like really cool and then like zany and wacky. It's one of the big things I love about this series.
Also, in the first issue, there's an epilogue scene after Luthor turns himself in. There's a scene with Lois and Superman, and the very first panel of the epilogue, there says "Planet to finger Luthor," and I like that. Sorry, shouldn't have brought it up.
No, I'm trying to look for it. What are you talking about?
It's on the background, like a signpost thing. It's all over the signs. In the first panel, after it says "faster," Planet to finger Luthor.
Oh, Planet to finger Luthor. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that was an epilogue. It's very tiny on the corner, but yeah. So
we're gonna finger Lex Luthor.
God damn it, we're gonna finger that brainy bald bitch.
Finally make him shoot and make him less angry. That's probably why he's so mad he hasn't busted.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. With his fit and as smart as he is, I don't see how he's not getting any bitches.
That's the thing. A lot of the incels, they're really smart people, but they have a lot of hatred in their heart. It's a damn shame. If you just like get rid of that racism and that hatred and that misogyny, you could be like Superman, Lex Luthor.
You could be a decent human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Luthor gets arrested, and I don't know if I said this. Quintum gives Superman 1 year left to live. Luthor is arrested after publication of a Daily Planet article written by Clark Kent, while Superman decides to keep his impending death secret from the public. Also in this epilogue that Colt mentions, this is where he finally reveals that he is Superman to Lois as well.
She doesn't believe him like a dummy.
Yeah. And then the second issue is basically it's Lois's birthday, and this is where Superman brings her back to his Fortress of Solitude.
The entire time she still thinks like this is not Clark Kent. He did something with Clark, and this is just Superman.
Yeah, and so they bring her back, and this is also too where we get a cool scene where Superman has a little key that he uses to unlock the Fortress of Solitude, and Lois is like, that can't be safe. And he's like, all right, we'll try to pick it up. So he puts it back on the ground, and she can't because it's made out of star.
A super dense dwarf star.
Yeah, it's made out of that matter. So it's something only he can lift.
It weighs 500,000 tons.
Which is crazy that where his Fortress of Solitude is and the key, I don't know why, but my brain is like, would that key not just fall through the fucking earth?
Also, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I really do not know about like the weight and like structure of the earth.
I think, okay, I know this doesn't matter because it's a comic book. Who cares?
Because it's so much weight condensed into one tiny location. But if it was realistic, yeah, I feel like it would be puncturing down because like that much weight condensed into one little area. Yeah. Well, I think you're right.
I think the reason why it doesn't is because I think it's the difference between if it's applied force. So like if Superman were to just drop the key, right, just drop it on the ground, it would just smash right through. Since he puts it down gently, it has no force, so it's fine.
I mean, when he puts it on the ground gently, it still leaves like an outline of the key, and the floor is cracked.
Yes, that's true. So I don't know, because I don't know. It doesn't have any potential energy because it hasn't built anything. So I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
it also depends on the structure of where it's being placed. Like, is this stuff strong enough to withstand this weight?
well, I assume the Fortress of Solitude is in like Antarctica, right? Like,
Frozen place.
and now also to be fair, Antarctica is a continent. It's not like a giant piece of ice. So it's a continent, so it's land. I don't know.
Yeah, none of this really matters in the comic.
But yeah, so he brings Lois back to the Fortress of Solitude. We
And
get
he freaks
introduced.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I'll let you have that one. And he freaks it. I will say if any character is consistently like looks good, it's Lois Lane, which
Yeah.
is funny because he has. I think it's funny. Like they have to make sure Lois Lane looks consistently just incredible, but everybody else can just look, weird at any
There
given
is
point in time.
one panel, I will say one correction. There's one panel where she is tweaking off the schizophrenia drug and she just looks crazy.
Is it the one where it's just of her lips?
Nope. If you go a few more pages in, it's just her face and she looks fucked up. It's right after he explains that I was sewing you a super suit. Happy birthday, Lois. It's like the last page or one of the last pages of this issue.
Oh yeah. I see what you're talking about. like there's just so much detail, like especially for her eyes, because her eyes are white or they have that white, but then like they put like some kind of like
Red.
red over it to make her look insane.
Which, to be fair, the one of the robots that was helping make her suit accidentally fucked up and spilled the schizophrenia juice. I can't remember exactly, but it's something that makes you super paranoid.
No, the robot was working on something and it caused a gas leak, and the gas was causing her to go crazy. No, I've been wanting to talk about it. So, the freaking I've been wanting to talk about all the cool stuff that's in Superman's Fortress of Solitude. He has a bunch of cool shit. One of the things that was like super crazy for me anyway was he has a sun eater that he caught. It's a baby sun eater that he caught like out in in the solar system, like close to like Jupiter or something. Yeah, Jupiter. And so to feed it, he has a cosmic anvil from New Olympus, where he forges miniature suns to kind of just throw at it to eat. And then there's like oh gosh, there's like this one room where he has a bunch of weapons, but then he also has a giant floating dark cube, also full of stars.
I think that's just it's foreshadowing that thing's going to be used later in a later issue, but it's like a mini universe.
Yeah, it's a mini universe. He has a bunch of he just has a bunch of stuff. He has also like a replica of the Titanic as well.
There's a huge 2-page spread that I'm very curious. There are definitely things from other issues, like the Joker's massive penny that says the bad penny, good for one crime. And then there's like a massive robot suit that looks kind of like a cockroach with the cockroach's back on his back. You can't really see his back, but it's an interesting shape for a mech suit.
No, it's a really cool mech suit, but what's if you can't notice, there's a this is called Superman's Forbidden Room. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. If you notice on its head, there's two like seats.
Yeah.
So it's like piloted. He also has a space shuttle. I like to think the penny is for him personally, for him to use, like he gets to do one crime.
Oh yeah, he just does it like heroin.
Jesus Christ. There's a
How
there
would
is
heroin affect Superman? That's a question we need answered at some point. James Gunn, I know you're listening.
there's also this this small glass dome with a city in it that if you're thinking like what the fuck is that? Like he just has a miniature city. It's like no, that is actually the city from Krypton that got captured by Brainiac, and because Brainiac Lux is he's basically like a collector, he miniaturized the city with all of its inhabitants, which are all Kryptonians, and Superman was able to rescue them, and he keeps them at the Fortress of Solitude so that he can try to figure out how to restore them.
That just makes me want to read more Superman stuff. Just this whole issue of just showing all this cool shit makes me wonder, like, what's the story behind this?
Yeah, like I said, like this. If anybody's been following me on like on my Blue Sky and see me talked about this, it really is like all these kind of like weird these references and storylines and stuff that like from like past Superman stories, or like they just in general just feel like these those weird zany tales from like sci-fi stories of like the 50s to like the 70s. It's just really cool, and it's perfect for Superman because Superman is just such an impossible character. Like he is impossibly strong, impossibly durable. Just so you have to give him the weird and zany stuff, which I like that because it makes him so much more interesting than like oh well he's gonna fight this big strong guy, like, or he's gonna fight this giant monster. Like those can be fun too, especially like from the eras that they're from, like the basic Superman like original eras where he's like fighting like a kaiju or something, like sure, but like I don't know, like make it weirder or something. I think that really kind of it adds more like when I'm thinking about it too now, I'm thinking of like how Batman is like, it's like, yeah, he has some weirdo villains that he fights, but he's more grounded and he fights kind of street level or whatever. Then there's Wonder Woman, which is like the magic side of DC. She's fighting gods and stuff. And then you have Superman, which is like the sci-fi, the weird, crazy, classic, just sci-fi side of DC, where he's fighting, he can fight gods as well, but he's fighting like again, like robots and monsters and just all this other crazy shit. Now that I think about it, I think that's a really apt way to kind of describe like the big three of DC.
Also in this room, you can see a chessboard with a bunch of Superman characters or DC characters, mostly Superman ones. There's a fucked up ugly Superman, which I can't remember his name, but I know
that's Bizarro.
That's Bizarro?
That's Bizarro.
I guess that's okay. Well, it's a Bizarro, Superman, Batman, Lex Luthor, a Sun, Lois Lane, Martian Manhunter, and more Planet Daily guys. I can't remember their names. I don't understand what's going on there, but I imagine there is a story behind it.
Oh no, that green guy, that's Brainiac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at least I think it is. He has those little dots on his head. That's Brainiac.
That makes sense.
It's Jimmy Olsen, the head guy of the Daily Planet, and like everybody else said, yeah. So the entire time, Lois is like super paranoid, and she hits Superman with a kryptonite gun. Then that's also how he learns that the green kryptonite doesn't hurt him anymore. That's good to know. And he reveals that part of Lois's birthday present is that he made her super suit because he made a serum to give her his powers for 24 hours. So they're basically going to have like this big birthday date where they just, do whatever, and she can keep up with Superman for the day. And also, we just get some interesting like dialogue where how her view of Clark Kent and Superman. There's these really good panels where it cuts from color to black and white, and then also to Lois Lane is like kind of suspicious of him. Not just because of the fact that revealed the secret, and she's paranoid because she thinks that maybe Superman was trying to do something to her, but also too, it's like, why is he doing all this right now? So she has a kind of a suspicion that maybe he's dying, but not entirely. Yeah, and so then the third issue is where they go. As I said, they kind of go out on the town. She gets to try out her powers. They meet the time traveling Samson and his friend Atlas, or sorry, they're both time traveling, but Samson and Atlas. And this is, and again, this is where I'm like, I really like these concepts because Samson is, as far as we know, this could be the biblical Samson, but from what I've seen of other stuff, it is the descendant of the biblical Samson, which he still has basically all the powers of him. And then Atlas, it is the Titan Atlas, the one who holds up the world. They time travel in their chronomobile, kind of just fucking around across across time. It's pretty crazy. And one of the things they did was they stole a necklace from an entity known as the Ultra Sphinx, who is like this kind of like quantum god. And this is also where it's revealed that Superman has 12 labors. Samson reveals this, and one of them is this, where he answers the unanswerable question. The Ultra Sphinx is holding Lois hostage, and he asks him the question of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and Superman has to answer this, and so he answers it, and he says they just surrender, and the Ultra Sphinx accepts that. Then Superman gets into an arm wrestling match with both Samson and Atlas, and he breaks both of their arms. That's kind of payback.
Yeah, that's an ouchie.
Yeah.
Also, the question that the Sphinx guy asked, I feel like nothing would have been an acceptable answer as well, because, well, nothing would happen. It's not a very hard riddle, I don't think.
Well, why didn't you answer it?
I wasn't there. Superman didn't ask me. If he did, I would.
Why didn't the Ultra Sphinx ask you, huh? Why didn't they ask
I didn't steal a fucking ancient artifact, bro.
Whatever.
Also, this whole shit started over because of a fucking meat measuring contest, basically, because they're trying to get with her.
Yeah, I did. The issue is really fun, but it's also just kind of like, what's going on here? It's
this
like
is a very old way of thinking right here.
Guys, I'm trying to get with this girl. It's like, oh, big jocks. we're gonna steal your girl from you.
And they didn't, because Superman broke their arms, because he's a real man that solves problems with violence.
I talked about this in my review on my Substack, but one of the kind of the highlights of the art in here is this is where we first meet Samson, and it's when Samson grabs this lizard monster that they're fighting, and he picks him up and throws him all the way into space. But what's really cool about it is, again, you can say what you want about Quietly in his art, but he is very good at showing expression and physical movement, because in this scene, we see Samson coming out of this throw, and like he's like, as he throws him, he's coming down, and like his foot is still off the ground. This is just, like I said, this is just to highlight like how Quietly is really good at showing movement, and it's man, I just love it. And this is this is also really cool too, because during this encounter, Superman is watching as this lizard man is in space, and he's trying to keep an eye on him, because they kind of just threw him up there and just don't give a fuck. And so Superman has to go up there to get him to get him back. It's like there's this line where the lizard man's name is Kroll. As Superman's watching him in space, he's like, Kroll's lungs just burst, which is like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, he has to go up there and get him.
And it's a damn shame. That lizard man was dripped out. So much gold. He got that bling. Let him rule for a day.
Then issue 4 is when Jimmy Olsen,
he becomes the director of the
project. Quintim allows Jimmy Olsen, because Jimmy Olsen has like this whole thing where he gets to be like a certain job for a day, and for this one he gets to be project director. So he's project director for a day. Dr. Quintum has stuff to do, and so but one of the things he does is he almost gets sucked into like another dimension as they're excavating for stuff. They end up excavating black kryptonite, and Superman gets way too close to it and ends up getting affected by it, which it turns him into basically Bizarro.
He turns into racist Superman. Hateful Superman.
It's not what happens. He turns if I'm right, if people are listening, if I'm right, he basically is a Bizarro, but like more evil, where like everything he does is the opposite of what he wants to do. There's also just another cool panel. I really like. Don't get me wrong, I love big double spread panels with a bunch of focus put on these like these single like panels or whatever. But I really love like smaller, just kind of like intermediary panels. Like there's this one where they launch a bunch of their Bizarros and a Titan to fight Superman. And so like there's this panel where it shows this giant Titan that they have hitting him with its eye beams, and all these Bizarros coming to fight Superman. I don't know. I just think that's a really, really cool panel. I say Bizarros too because the project is developing like Bizarro clones that aren't evil, specifically for labor and to help with their research and stuff. So when it comes to like situations like this where there's any sort of superpowered villains or whatever, they can deploy people who can stand against them. but since Superman is so freaking strong right now, they were defeated. So Jimmy Olsen has to basically take a doomsday serum to fight Superman, and he's able to take him down.
And it's great because whenever he's doomsday, in every panel they cover his crotch with smoke.
Yep, you can't see his BB.
I want to see if he's got spikes.
Then issue 5 is when Clark Kent gets to visit Lex Luthor in prison. This is kind of like an interview to get his oh god, what's it called? Like his last account, not memoir.
Last will and testament.
Before Luthor is executed, the courts have declared him guilty, and they're gonna send him to the electric chair. So this is kind of Clark Kent doing a last interview. And this is also too where again what I love too about Quietly, what Morrison, what they've done here for Clark Kent is that they've really differentiated between Superman and Clark Kent, where Clark Kent is like still as big and as tall as Superman, but because of how they draw his posture and how he looks, it makes him look like chubbier, kind of fat, kind of oafish, clumsier even. But it's also funny because as clumsy as he is, he also manages to save with his clumsiness, he uses that to save Luthor's life several times. It's really funny. Like he does kind of like this slapstick looking routine where he comes in and trips over a cable, but it's because Superman detected that there was something wrong with the electrical outlet, and so when he trips up on the cable, the shortage goes out, and it's like, well, I guess Luthor says, Clark Kent, he says, your clumsiness may have saved me from electrocution. But yeah, so we're going through all of this too as Lex Luthor is showing kind of his routine, and again, this is an interview. Some of the humor in here is also just kind of like really, I don't know, weird. Like there's this like I don't know, don't get me wrong, Lex Luthor is evil and a dick, but there's just really funny, not funny that it's genuinely funny, just weird. Lex Luthor is talking to Clark and he points to the prison guards. He says, "How about this pair of fat girls?" And
that's just a very 2000s humor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, it's just very 2000s. It's just I don't know, that kind of fell flat to me personally.
Yeah, it's not necessarily offensive. I mean, sure it can be. It's a nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's a nothing. That's how it feels. It's just like, all right. But it's also Clark Kent's face though is very funny. How he looks over. And I don't know. I also think it's just funny Lex Luthor's look in here, like how he has these really short boy shorts as he's working around, working out.
Power move on Clark.
What do you mean power move on Clark?
Because he's exposing his legs and possibly his nutsack's hanging out a little bit.
What do you mean on Clark?
Clark Kent, the guy interviewing him, he's not really. That's Superman, Wenzel.
I know. When you say power move, what do you mean power move?
It's a power move to expose your nutsack. It's sort of
Clark
like
Kent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you say. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because kind of like in nature, they also do weird shit with their penises. They're like, ooh, look at this. Power move.
Honestly, whenever you said that, though, I originally thought you were saying that was a power move by Superman not to gargle his balls.
No, what? You're just making up sentences that I didn't say.
That's what I was thinking in my head. Yeah, and so through this entire section, Lex Luthor is kind of like talking about why he did what he did, and how he doesn't mind being in prison because this is also the place where he'll it's like an experiment kind of where this is how he's going to take over society, or at least this is where it's going to start, and how to develop it from prison by ruling over the prisoners. Parasite is also there. Parasite, if you don't know, that's one of Superman's villains, and part of Parasite's power is that he absorbs power energy from like anything, and that's why he's a villain of Superman, is because Superman, being who he is, he's able to absorb Superman's power, so they can go toe to toe.
But also at the same time, it feels like the worst person to put against him.
How so?
Because he can get so fucking strong to a point where the only person that could take him down is Superman. I would send in a weaker person before I sent in Superman.
I know. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. I'm not really sure how they ever beat Parasite in the first place.
Get a kid with cancer to punch him.
Yeah.
That's pretty weak.
Yeah, I don't know how they would how would they beat him. I mean, I assume Superman just kind of just continuously beats the shit out of him until he's just like, I don't know. Yeah, so Parasite's there. He breaks out of his restraints because he was able to grab a little energy somewhere, but also that too, he senses Superman there. He senses like that there's something strong there, so he wants that that power, but also he's out to get Luthor as well. He does end up getting beaten though. Luthor and this entire sequence, they kind of it's them, Luthor and Kent / Superman are making their way to basically get Clark out of the prison. Lex Luthor thinks he's saving Clark, but it's mostly Superman saving Lex. This is also this is also a really interesting scene here that we get towards the end, where we don't really ever see Superman super angry, and he's just so I'll go ahead and just read it. So this is where they're at the end of their journey. Clark is trying to understand why Lex Luthor is doing what he's doing, and he says this. Clark says, "I can't believe you're getting ready to die like this. You and Superman could have been friends." Lex Luthor says, "Are you insane? I'm a born dictator. I'm a born dictator." I don't know why I said dictator. Then Clark says, "You'll die like a mad dog in the yard. Think straight, Lex." And again, I really like how quietly draws expressions, because he makes him look so angry.
Yeah, and at this, I don't really know when Lex loses his eyebrow, but his niece points out eyebrow Lexi, and he draws an eyebrow on, and he looks like one of those cunty memes where they have the eyebrow raised and it's playing some music.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, and the thing is too, it's like this isn't like I don't really know when he loses it, because if you go back, you see where he's already lost it.
Let me look, because he's got it right when the riot breaks out. He still has his eyebrow. Let me see.
Oh,
what? He wipes his forehead because he's sweating, and then it disappears. So there's some reason why he draws his eyebrow on.
Okay. No, I think his eyebrows are fake the entire time.
Oh.
I think that's what it is. I think his eyebrows
Maybe he just doesn't have any
are
body hair.
maybe. I was like, he's just completely bald. So what he does is he draws on his eyebrows. But for some reason, for this one moment, he draws it on to make it look like he's
Intrigued.
lifting. Like he's lifting his eyebrow, like, huh? I'm like, huh, yeah, okay. Also, too, there is a I didn't say there's a baboon. With
Yes. Can't. I
with
was going to say,
Superman.
we will not skip this. All right, Clark Kent. Now, to confuse you, your escape route, Kent. But you're just another weapon in my war against Superman. Watch now. Watch how easily I make your paper and entire penal system seem completely unreliable. Quote, and then an inimitable Lex Luthor opened up the floor and shook hands with a baboon in a Superman suit. And it proceeds.
Evening, Leopold.
Yeah, he opens the floor, and then a baboon in a Superman suit comes out. He just starts screaming, and he shakes his hand.
Yep, and
It's
that's how it ends.
I want to know how he
leaves.
got that in prison.
He's Lex Luthor. Who cares? Yeah. Yep. And then that's how that ends. Then we get to issue 6, Funeral in Smallville.
This is one of my favorite issues. It's really good.
This is my favorite issue. I think this is like everybody's favorite issue. This is kind of like a flashback where we get to when Superman was younger. He was he just graduated college.
I think he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do. Like I want to help you on the farm, people, Pappy. And he's like, "Oh, go to the big city, buddy. We'll be okay."
Yeah. So he's currently back at the farm, the Kent farm. He is studying to be a journalist. This is much younger. Jesus
Sorry.
Christ, did you hit your water bottle?
Yes.
This is also too where we get some new characters. These 3 men come to help on the farm. This guy, he introduced himself as Calvin Elder. There's this other little guy that's older, and then there's this man that's wrapped in bandages.
They all look pretty freaky.
Yeah, you can immediately get some different vibes from them. If you can't make, you could make some educated guesses. So they're all Supermen from the future. So the leader of this group is Cal Kent. He's a Superman from the year 85,250. Also in this flashback, Crypto is here as well.
I want to know what the fuck happened to Crypto.
What I was literally about to say, I was like, what happened to Crypto? Because he's not in the other issues. So,
and plus he's not a normal dog. I would assume he's got a bit longer lifespan because I don't know how he got made. I don't know if he's Kryptonian or what.
I don't know anything about Crypto. I think it'd be, and it wouldn't be funny. It would suck ass if.
Yeah, it'd suck if they had to put him down.
No, I was just saying if he's just like a regular dog with superpowers, it's just that like his lifespan's the same, so he just dies like a regular dog.
I think that's bullshit if that's the case.
I know, I agree. Yeah, so Cal Kent is part of the Superman squad. They fight alongside the Superman of many different eras to protect the structure of space-time itself. The other Supermen, again, I clocked him because he's the unknown Superman of AD 4500, is the one that's wrapped in bandages. If you don't know, I don't know if there was another unknown Superman, but I'm pretty certain on this. That is a reference to the Unknown Soldier comic. It's a very old comic about I think it's under DC or whatever, one of their old imprints or whatever. Basically, the Unknown Soldier was a soldier who went on these like secret missions fighting the Nazis or whatever, and part of his signature look was that he was always covered in bandages. He pops up later, earlier during when Lois is at the Fortress of Solitude. when I first saw him, I laughed because I'm like, the Unknown Superman. I'm like, that has to be a reference to the Unknown Soldier. The reason why I even know that is because my dad has a bunch of Unknown Soldier comics, of course. So, yeah. And then the other Superman is, I am not saying that fucking name. He is the Superman of the Fifth Dimension. He's an imp. If anybody knows the imps from DC Comics, they have those very weird names. And then if you want
Is
to,
Klazint Pilix?
I'll take it. To get rid of them, you have to say their name backwards or whatever.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You don't know that?
No.
There's this I can't remember where it's from. I can't remember if it's from the show or from a specific comic, but there's an imp. I think it's from the show. There's an imp that Superman has to fight.
And then he eventually has one of his descendants. Fuck.
They're very powerful. So like, I mean like so powerful that like they mess with like reality and like they're like gods. And they just can't get rid of him. They don't know how until they figure out his name, and they figure out that they have to say it backwards, and that's how they get rid of him. Which is so funny because I think he pops up again later and they just say his name again and he gets rid of him. There's another imp that is a little more friendly than that one. His name is Batmite.
I've seen him.
Yeah, his whole thing is that he wants to be Batman or whatever. Yeah, he's an imp as well. So yeah, the imps are annoying, but this one's good. Superman from the Fifth Dimension. They're here in Smallville because they're trying to capture the Chronovore. It's this time-eating predator, and
looks sick.
It looks crazy. It looks so weird. It's like it's straight up like just one of those things you would see in like those old like sci-fi novels or whatever. It's like this.
It's a ball of eyes with mouths floating, with arms floating as well.
With like chicken leg arms. It's crazy. But yeah, they're there to stop it, and this current Superman is like he's like there's something weird about this, so he wants to help, but they're telling him no, don't help us. This is a job for us. Like we need, like you don't have to do anything. And they're kind of like briefly there's kind of like a bout where they're kind of having to fight, and Crypto joins in, but ultimately they do have to stop the Chronovore. And during this brief like fight, the Unknown Superman goes back because they're Supermen, so they're super fast. Goes back to talk to Paul. Superman's dad is asking him kind of about the talking like about like the future, about where to go from here, like about he's unsure about the farm, about his son, and he asks him like he'll be okay, won't he? And the unknown Superman tells him, yeah, it all comes out right in the end, and he does this too because he has a heart attack and dies, and this is the reason why they didn't want this Superman fighting the Chronovore, because in this brief time that they're fighting him, the Chronovore steals 3 minutes from him, and in this 3 minutes, Superman's human father has a heart attack and dies. And when Superman hears his heartbeat stopped, he goes to fly to him, and like they tell him like, we got this, go. And he's flying so fast too that his hair catches on fire as well. And it's really sad because he's like I can save everybody.
He didn't.
Yeah. Thanks, Colt. Yeah, and then we get this funeral course. Gives Superman is talking about him, talking about all that he taught him in his life. And we get this again, the sad moment where he's crying on the porch with his mom, and about how like he questions like of course like why he has all these powers and yet he couldn't save one of the people that matter most to him. His mom is telling him, you don't have to be a farmer, you need to go out. And she says that you belong to the world now. It's true. And then we get revealed too as the Supermen make their exit. It's revealed that the unknown Superman isn't the unknown Superman. It's actually our current Superman who went back in time to complete this what is this, like this time loop or whatever, because he did experience this, and later in the future it turns out that like, oh, that he was the unknown Superman, so he has to go back, help them to defeat the chronovore. And it's very just poetic, because in the 3 minutes that he steals from himself, he gets back as he gets to talk to his father one last time. It is also in this moment too that we get oh gosh, this golden Superman who gives him a flower that that will last forever, that he puts on his dad's grave.
It's a very nice moment. Also, it just shows like, damn, I'd be fucking, I guess.
You know, it's just not him constantly fucking, right? He has one descendant, and it goes on forever and ever.
That means he has sex, and he hasn't had sex yet.
Yeah, you're right.
He's very excited. He's like, I'm going to die soon, so it's got to be soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get issue 7 and 8.
Just flump them together, man, because I don't want to talk about them much, because I don't have anything nice to say other than I fucking hate Bizarro and the way he talks.
It is basically that. It's just the first issue is where it's basically the Bizarros are invading the Earth with from their Bizarro planet. The Bizarro planet is a giant cube.
It does look really sick, though.
It is very sick. It comes out from what's known as the Underverse. The Underverse is as they describe it, the basement level of their universe. A universe with something like that. It's crazy. So it comes to invade. We get this really cool sequence of panels too in the beginning of issue 7, where Superman is letting go the baby Sun Eater. He takes him back to Jupiter, and he's like, "Get out of here, go get," But there's no dialogue. And as he's flying back, he sees something, and next thing he knows, he's being jumped by a bunch of Bizarros. Bizarro clones in space, and then that's where we get this double spread panel of Bizarro Planet and all these Bizarros, and Bizarro Superman attacking him. Really, really cool.
One thing I didn't think about when I first read this is the death toll from this event has to be in the millions.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, the Bizarros, what they do is they invade the planet. And every time they touch somebody, they're copying them. And when they do that, though, they also are killing that person.
They remove their mouth and nose, so I'm assuming the original is going to die from lack of oxygen.
Yeah, they're basically like melting, and so that's what they do. And so Superman has to
But you can be immune if you have Viagra in your system.
Yeah, so they find out one of the guys, because this all starts too with the people from the Daily Planet being jumped, and so they get rescued. And one of the guys, who is like the guy also always constantly messing with Clark, he's like this very stereotypical, just toxic masculine guy, always picking on people and always trying to be a big man. So Superman scans him, and then he finds that there's he says they're like, "Hey, our guy here is immune to them." It's like, can you see what made him immune? And as Superman does that, he's like, "But I don't know if I could recommend those or performance pills in your bloodstream to everybody." So
he's got a fucking boner.
He got a boner.
He was thinking to get lucky at the Christmas party.
Yep, you're right. So Jimmy Olsen proposes that maybe what they can do is that because the Bizarros can't handle sunlight, so that's why they're attacking the night side of the planet. And Superman charges to Bizarro Planet. It's really cool, and he
Nukes
turns it. He turns the planet because the oceans are so big that they're basically a mirror and reflect sunlight onto the night side of the planet. Also, Quintum is also having to deal with his own Bizarros because they also turned against him as well. And what ends up happening is that Superman gets trapped on Bizarro Planet because as soon as he does this, it recalls all the Bizarros and it goes into the Underverse. And the Underverse is incredibly dense. And as Superman stays there, the longer he's in the Underverse, he's losing his powers. And not only that, it sinks. It's sinking into the Underverse. So eventually it's going to get to a point to where he won't be able to escape at all. So this next issue, issue 8, is going to be him getting off the planet with the help of Zobaro, the Bizarro of Bizarro Superman. Basically, he's normal, just he is the Bizarro of the Bizarros.
He's the first smart version of Bizarro. So just think of becoming the first intelligent human in that process, and you're thinking, "Oh God, everybody's so fucking stupid." Is basically what he is.
Basically, issue 8 is kind of showing that just his basically his whole experience on Bizarro Planet, because all the Bizarros, the reason why Colt and I get so frustrated with this issue is because the Bizarros speak, their language is basically whatever they say, they mean the opposite of. So when they say it a specific way. They say, like if they hate something, they say,
me love. Yeah, they say not a lot too.
No, not me, no hate. Do they say it like that? Like me, not me, no hate, not you, or is it just me hate me, not hate you?
It's something.
It's basically like that. Where so then when Superman has to try to get them all to like build him a rocket, he has to speak in their language, but he doesn't really figure that out until like halfway through. So the entire time he's talking to them, they're just laughing at him because they don't understand what he's saying. And it is funny when he starts speaking their language, they're like, oh wait, we got to listen to what he's saying. It's very funny. And at some point, Bizarro Planet also makes Bizarro Flash and another
Green Lantern.
Another yeah, it's like to help build this rocket to get him off. There's also Bizarro Jor-El, and they sing this song as they also burn Jor-El alive as part of their ritual or something.
There's also a very funny panel of Zobaro where he's like, "There's only seems to be room for one on your rocket ship," and he's giving him a side eye.
Dude, it's a highly detailed panel of Zobaro. It's like, oh, there's only it's like something out of SpongeBob. It's like it reminds me of a mix of SpongeBob, but also like Tim Robinson. I don't know why I read that in Tim Robinson's voice. It's pretty funny. Yeah. So yeah, you know, Superman's able to escape. It's not completely bad. It just, with how they speak, I don't know. It's like the issue moves so slow.
Yeah, there was on my first read through. I really fucking did to read and understand it. On my second one, I kind of just like skimmed over a lot of it, and I was like, okay, it's just too much. It's fucking annoying. And I don't like it. I really don't. It's probably one of my least favorite comic experiences ever is reading Bizarro dialogue. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. So issue 9 is where we get to see 2 surviving Kryptonians. So Superman returns from the Underverse. He's been gone for 2 weeks, and in this 2 weeks, these 2 Kryptonians who survived who survived destruction in Krypton because they were in deep space. They're space explorers. So they came to Earth, and they're basically seen as Superman's replacements. Bar-El and I assume Lilo, and and Bar-El is from the same house as Superman, Kal-El. So he's from the House of El, and yeah, they're dicks.
Very much
very
so like the Viltrumites and Invincible.
Yeah, very very similar. They're not like outright killing people. They are helping to like relieve like disasters or whatever, but for the most part they feel a superiority complex.
Yeah, they see humans as animals.
Yeah, and they question why, you know, Superman hasn't tried to basically take over the planet, or why he hasn't tried to restore the miniaturized why he hasn't yet to restore the miniaturized Kryptonian city, or why he's kept all of the Kryptonian criminals in the Phantom Zone. You know, they're just, yeah. Oh yeah, and they're like there's like also like husband and wife as well. Yeah, and there's a brief fight too where they just start going up into his crib and just start
they destroyed statues of his parents, and they also just like bully him over all his shit, and then they fucking crack the moon open by slamming Superman into it. They're just bullying the shit out of him.
Yeah.
They should have given him a wedgie and said, "Ha ha, look at little dumbass, ha ha." I would have liked that a lot.
But then at some point, whenever they try to antagonize him again, they both get sick. It's a pretty wild moment where they're both incredibly just like they're experiencing these symptoms, and as they're experiencing these symptoms, it's a scene where Lilo says, "Bar-El, I can't see," and then Superman's trying to help them, and then whenever Bar-El turns, his eyes are
hello.
God, Jesus Christ! It's because he's blind too. It's pretty, yeah, God, it's pretty jarring, but also like really sad. They're Superman brings him back to the fortress, and he's basically talking to them about like what's happened. Prior to that, he told them what happened to or what's happening to them, and they're basically they're weakening, basically dying because they've been poisoned.
It's radioactive cloud in space, which caused the minerals in your bodies to turn to toxic kryptonite. It can't kill me anymore, but it was weakening me. But as for you, I'm afraid your bodies are poisoning you, Bar-El. That's dialogue.
Yep, that's basically it. So yeah, so he brings him back, tells them that like right now he can't do anything for them, but what he can do is basically transfer them into dematerialize their bodies into the Phantom Zone forever as a way to save them. So they hold hands and say yes, as long as Bar-El, as long as he's with Lilo, you know, it doesn't matter where they go. And this is also where Bar-El shows as well. He's like even though after what I've done to you, still show me kindness. Kal-El, I'm proud to call you my kin. Krypton's great heart lives on in you. So yeah. So man, I actually really like that issue as well. We also get this cool final panel where it shows Lilo and Bar-El in the Phantom Zone. Bar-El's cracking his knuckles as he looks at all the criminals in the Phantom Zone. And right before this, Superman says the Phantom Zone will have some law and order at last. So I think that's pretty cool. In the end, they turn good.
Maybe. I don't know. They could be in there ripping people to shreds.
It's okay. They're evil. The people in there are evil. It's fine.
You're right. I think we should just rip prisoners to shreds. To be fair, this is a super prison that Superman doesn't send them there lightly. But still, I think it's funny that they're in there killing everyone.
We don't know.
I'm going to predict it. They weren't very nice when they're at full power.
But now they've been changed.
Oh.
Anyway, issue 10 is Superman starts off with paying these children with cancer a visit. It looks like he takes them to Egypt to see the Great Pyramids, just hanging out with them, being nice, Superman stuff. Then it cuts to one of the best panels in the series, which is Superman's last will and testament.
He just posed up. He
Yeah.
or a farming.
This is where he's trying to figure out, or he realizes that his death is coming soon, so he needs to figure out more stuff, more of what to do. We see where he's working with Quintum to figure out what to do about the miniaturized Kryptonian city. Superman takes that floating cube we talked about earlier. This is where he basically makes a simulation of, not a simulation, but he makes a universe as an experiment to see what a world without Superman would look like, so he can know as to kind of like ease himself about if humanity, the universe, will be okay with him, well, Earth and humanity specifically, without him. So yeah, that's what he does. This is also part of his 12 great feats, is that he actually creates life, which is he creates an entire fucking universe. That's something Hercules couldn't even do, by the way. So that shows you. Also, I've completely forgot something I was going to talk about too. It's so funny how Hercules. If anybody doesn't know about Hercules' 12 labors, they're nothing like this, by the way. Superman's 12 labors and Hercules are completely different. And so different, in fact, that Hercules' labors are so funny because it's mostly just him either killing a monster or just stealing shit. Like that's mostly his labors, or killing people. Like it's crazy. Some of them were just mean. like one of his labors was he had to tame the flesh-eating horses of this island, and when he goes to this island, if I'm remembering this correctly, he didn't know the horses were flesh-eating, and the person who owns the horses tried to tell him, like, hey man, these horses, they eat people, they eat like meat and whatever, like don't mess with them, we need to keep him here, blah blah blah. And Hercules is like, I don't believe you, grabs the dude and feeds him to the horses. The guy wasn't evil. He just he like throws him at the horses, and the horses eat him, and he's just like, oh shit.
That's pretty Giga Chad, if you ask me.
It's terrible. So Superman is, as he's dying, he's still saving people. There's also this like one of these moments is where he saves a woman from or a girl from jumping off a building. We see a meeting again with the Kryptonians in this miniaturized city where there's a special team of Kryptonians that they want to help Superman for all he's done for them. So they're microscopic. They get smaller. So they go inside Superman's body to try to help fight off the cancer, but they just can't. But what Superman does with them instead is that he takes them to the cancer kids, and he sends them off to go fight the cancer in the children's bodies, which is like again another just small panel, but like for me it just has so much significance because it just shows him he's opening out his hand, and then you can just see this small little Kryptonians flying out. Man, like it's just like, God, it's so cool.
So Superman, I'm just gonna go ahead and predict, cured cancer.
Basically, because like it's just such a cool idea. It's like because they're just so powerful, like send microscopic Kryptonians into the human body and they'll just physically beat the shit out of the cancer cells.
I think that's not just cancer. I feel like that would destroy most sicknesses.
Any disease, because they can't be affected by human diseases. No matter, I mean, besides like the disease itself, like being a giant monster and like killing them, I mean, it can't really infect them. So they just go in and just fuck them up, dude. Like, I don't know. That's cool. That's cool. They do kind of figure out something to do with the Kandor. That's the name of the city, Kandor. They take it to Mars and they put it there this is also partly due to concerns of the Kryptonians themselves, because they're afraid of integrating with human society, how it might be too much for humans. So that's also part of that too. Lex Luthor spits at Superman while in prison. No reason.
Just a dick.
Just a dick. And yeah. Then the issue ends with a news article written by Clark Kent that says Superman dead.
Oops, that's a spoiler.
Issue 11 and 12 are basically this long story of where Lex Luthor is being executed, and as he's being executed, it doesn't work because he had taken his own super serum to basically have the same powers as Superman. It also lasts 24 hours, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, he breaks out of prison, starts wreaking havoc. As this is happening too, one of Solaris, the tyrant's son, has come to Earth to try to kill Superman. It's basically this kind of this ball that looks like a sun. It has this eye, this singular eye, and it's basically like a computer, like an AI. Superman makes this special suit to go in.
It goes really hard. I really like the suit, and the way his face looks under the face mask looks really cool.
Yeah, he has to put on a special suit and helmet because the sun emits red sun radiation, so it weakens him. We get this really cool panel too, where it's him flying, and behind him are his robots going to help.
It reminded me of Invincible, but on a smaller scale. When Batman does something pretty cool. I'm not going to spoil Invincible.
Yeah, no, every time they're in space and they're flying, or Superman is like fighting somebody in space, I was reminded of the fight scenes in Invincible in space, and like I said, this scene specifically of them flying up reminds me of Invincible, which it would be funny, like since Invincible was actually also being published at this time,
and that one I'm thinking of, it came out definitely after this.
Oh, it came out later, so I would like to think maybe this potentially influenced that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the robots fly up with Superman to go and help take down the tyrant's son. One of the robots does stay back to maintain the Fortress of Solitude. And as they're fighting the sun, of course, most of the robots are destroyed, but Superman is the one having to take it down. Just really cool panels. It's also, to the entire time, the sun is speaking in ones and zeros. As I said before, it's like a machine, like a computer. This is also revealed where Robot 7 was hacked by Solaris. Way back down the line, Solaris worked with Lex Luthor to hack Robot 7 to steal the formula to make to give Lex Luthor his Superman powers. So Robot 7 is helping Superman also as a way to atone for what he's done. And then the Sun Eater that he let go actually comes back to help Solaris, or no, Superman fight Solaris, but ends up getting killed, and that makes Superman really fucking mad. He brings Solaris down to Earth, and it's a really cool scene where Superman is holding his fist out, and there's Superman says, "There's a way to everyone's heart, and I can see yours." And Solaris is like, "Mercy, you'll live," and then just rips it out. It's really cool. And Superman says this too, is because actually Solaris does survive this encounter. By the 24th century, he's been rehabilitated to work with humanity instead of against them. And Superman's like, "Your rehabilitation begins here, Solaris." So yeah, and then Lex Luthor is doing his whole bit. He goes first to the Daily Planet for what they wrote about him. This is also too, Superman goes back to be Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, but I mean he's right here, right at basically the finish line. And he pretty much dies right here while the Daily Planet, and then the final issue 12, is where we see this sequence where Superman is with Jor-El, his father, in this space of consciousness where they're talking, and he's telling him that you're dead. This is it. You don't have to worry about the Earth, the people anymore. Like, they have something to aspire to be. You're the man of tomorrow. It's okay. But then we get this cool panel where Jor-El looks at him with his like very stern and like serious face of here the choice is simple: to remain at play within the field of living fluid consciousness, or to turn and face down evil one last time. Oh, it's so sick.
And it's followed by fucking Lex Luthor making another fucking great face on the next page.
Disgusting face. Yeah. And then another panel too, where it shows Lex Luthor picking his ear, which is really funny. So Superman talks to his dad a little more, and then he awakens to save the people of the Daily Planet, to fight Lex. And Lex still doesn't know Clark Kent is Superman. He's been able to kind of keep up this facade. Because even then, in this moment, Lex Luthor or Clark pulls out this gravity gun, to fight him, and Jimmy Olsen brings out his suit, but people still, including Lex, think that Superman was pretending to be Clark Kent, so that he could ambush Lex Luthor. That Clark Kent is actually at the Fortress of Solitude safe. Very funny. And they have this fight throughout the comic, throughout the issue, and then what ends up happening is Solaris turns against Lex Luthor and turns the sun blue. But then also too, by using the gravity gun, he's able to use up his powers, Lex Luthor's powers. So now his 24 hours runs out, and he's able to knock out Lex. And then finally, Superman tells Lois that he loves her. He's starting to crack open with energy, and he has to go to take all that energy to the sun to turn it back into a yellow star.
The page where it's a panel, really, where he is without a cape, and Lex is talking to his niece, and there's a panel where he's like, "You're right, Lex. He's trying to tell you his 24-hour powers just ran out." That goes hard as hell, where he's got blood running out of his nose, and his eyes are like bloodshot, kind of yellow looking, like he got jaundice.
Yeah, right, because he's dying.
Yeah, my liver fails.
But yeah, and then we get kind of this epilogue where Lois is at the park with Jimmy. There's a statue of Superman, and Lois is in denial that Superman's dead. She knows that he's in the sun making a new heart, and we get this panel where it shows Superman kind of like in this factory pulling this lever, we assume to be constructing this new heart to the sun. Then it cuts to Quintum with his assistant at their project base. I should have mentioned too earlier, Superman was able to figure out his DNA, his genome, and he gave the sequence, the formula, to Quintum. And then this is where Quintum reveals that he has Project 2 with the Superman symbol as part of their project to create clones of Superman in case they ever need another Superman again. And that's how it ends. That's how the issue the series ends.
Panel of him just cranking that lever. That feels iconic. I feel like I've seen that before I even read it.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right though. It feels iconic because it just looks like he's in this factory of light, that is in the sun. This is the sun, and he's a part of it. It's very cool. But yeah, that's how the series ends. I really liked that conversation with Jor-El that he has there. Because I said this in my review, and I'm gonna say it here too. Seriously, please, if you would go you're listening, go to my Substack, Wenzel Essentials, and go read my All-Star Superman review. But what I say in there, and what I love about this is, for the longest time, I didn't really understand the Man of Tomorrow title, because in my head, when I hear Man of Tomorrow, I think of kind of like that retro futurist idea of like some kind of, technological robot man, or a superhuman, an entity of power or technology. That's really all I thought. I never really thought of the Man of Tomorrow being an ideal. That is the idea that like we can, hope for or strive for a better tomorrow. And that is what the Man of Tomorrow is. Basically us as a people or as an individual, that we can be a better person tomorrow or today, but rather that tomorrow, the people of tomorrow, or what would become tomorrow, will be one of goodness, of kindness, of compassion, of strength, and of helping each other, rather than what we currently are, just constantly, strife and wickedness. Yeah, I never really thought of it like that, and I think All-Star Superman helped me to finally get that. That's what I also really love about this series.
I agree. This was something that introduced me to Superman, really. Because I really don't have any experience with Superman, even in like live action movie format, other than Snyder's Justice League and Injustice. Well, Injustice, that's not a live action, but still, I don't really have much experience with him. This was a beautiful, very fun experience where it shows the pureness of Superman. Like, I'd always known he was like a pure guy before Snyder got a touch on him, turned him into a evil freak. And I know that made a lot of people not happy, and I understand why now, because that version of Superman fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And this one it's just a better, nicer experience. Just a guy that genuinely cares and is super kind. It's a nice change of pace. Especially after consuming so much Invincible with all the evil Supermen, and even in The Boys with Homelander.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love those. Those are really good. Snyder just sucks. I'm sorry, he's not that good of a director. It's just a nice to experience Superman in this light. I'm definitely going to be reading more Superman stuff in the future. I just got to figure out what. I'm probably going to start with Absolute Superman, because I've heard nothing but good things about the Absolute DC stuff.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I really want to check out Absolute Martian Manhunter. But also, to kind of go off to what you just said about Invincible, I think it's just so funny. I've read now 2 series, Invincible and All-Star Superman, this year, both about superpowered or overpowered heroes who want to just do good, who want to just help the world. And it's just so nice, not only like to have it be so just nice change of pace with like the evil Supermen or evil overpowered villains, like you said with Homelander, or like some of the villains in Invincible itself, but it's just nice, but also a change of pace from the world where we don't have anything. Like we just have a bunch of fucking psychos with a bunch of money, too much like power in their hands, just destroying the world, and we have nobody who's like just wholly good with the same amount of power. We have nothing like that. We just have evil fucking people with a ton of power, and like that, it's fucking awful. So it's just nice to have an escape where instead we have just pure beings who are really trying to look out for everybody, fighting against evil, rather than the reality of evil people solely wanting to do evil and destroy the fucking world. And like, yeah, like you said, no experience. It does make me want to try to just find some more really good Superman, honestly. Rating wise, I give it a 4.5 out of 5, which is a 9 out of 10 for me personally. The Bizarro issue really kind of brings it down for me.
Oh yeah, I'm with you 110%. I'm a 9 out of 10 as well. Bizarro stuff genuinely sucks shit. I don't like it. Zabaro was fun. and I enjoyed the cubed world, and that's about it. With the Bizarro stuff, I don't like Bizarro, and do not recommend me shit with Bizarro if he's talking like that still, because I do not want to read that shit anymore. No, thank you.
Yeah, we both can agree, highly recommend you pick up All Star Superman. Like literally, you can just pick it up and read it without any prior knowledge. If you can get the compact DC compact edition, it's only $10. Or go to your library. They more than likely have this.
This is a very popular Superman comic, so they probably have it.
They probably have it. Yep. So yeah. Well, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We're the All You Can Hear podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast. All of our episodes are on YouTube at All You Can Hear, along with the instruction booklets, VODs, and all of their episodes, and our VODs as well from our past streams on twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. Follow us on Bluesky at AYCH Podcast. And lastly, you can follow me, Wenzel, on Bluesky as World of Winsy and Wenzel's Essentials. My link tree has links for everything.
My name is Colt. Follow me on Blue Sky, Colt D99. And let's get ready to watch that Superman movie. I want to see if he has the courage to go evil Superman and kill Lex Luthor and possibly put down Crypto for being bad boy.
For put down Crypto for peeing on the carpet.
You know what? Snyder should direct it. James Gunn, get out of here. Let's get Snyder in here and make Superman rip Crypto in half. Amen.